I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. Now I know I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself, and I hold myself like a newborn baby.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 5th in our series of But Who Takes Care of You? The Sam and Nina Wolff Caregivers program was created to offer support to caregivers with loved ones suffering with dementia. It provides respite care assistance, comprehensive assessments, caregiver support group, and self-care events like this one. For over 80 years, JFCS has been serving the vulnerable individuals, seniors, and families in Passaic, Bergen, and Hudson counties with their food pantry, mental health counseling, kosher meals on wheels, emergency financial assistance, family case management, and the relaunched career services. Please reach out to JFCS for you or for someone you know at 201-837-9090 or visit jfcsnnj.org. Now let me introduce you to Cheryl Sarnak, the chair of the Sam and Nine Wolff Caregivers and founder of But Who Takes Care of You series. Cheryl?
Thank you, Eileen. I'm so pleased that you're all here today, and I know we're going to have a wonderful program led by Jen Graf. Jen is a licensed clinical social worker, mind-body medicine practitioner, yoga and meditation teacher, and founder of the Graf Center for Integrative Medicine located at Englewood Health in New Jersey. Jen has created transformational programs for hospital staff and the general public based on the teachings of mind-body medicine. She leads meditations and yoga classes, speaks extensively on stress management, good sleep hygiene, and general self-care, which is what we're going to focus on today. This session will be live streamed on Facebook and recorded for future viewing. And we will be mailing you Jen's take-home strategies after the event. Please feel free to type your questions into the chat box, and Jen will be happy to answer them towards the end of the program. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to Jennifer Graf.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. And thank you, Cheryl, for inviting me. Cheryl and I know each other for many years, and we studied positive psychology together, and we did some laugh yoga together, and lots of JFCS events. And I actually got my start at JFCS as a young social worker many, many moons ago. And so I have a special place in my heart for JFCS, so it's great to be here. And we're here to talk about, practical, quick techniques that you can use as caregivers, especially caregivers of Alzheimer's and dementia, but caregivers of all kinds will find this and do find these things useful because we're caregivers with a lot of different hats on. We're mothers, we're fathers, we're children of aging parents, we work for bosses, and most or some of us are professional caregivers. So we're constantly meeting the demands of others. And we need to fill our own tank first. And sometimes we forget that. I know that I do. Or it will lead to burnout. And we're no good to others with an empty tank. So, and we went into this line of work to help people because we're good at that. We love doing that more than anything. It gives our life meaning. But if we don't fill our own tank, we can't fulfill on the gifts that we've been given, the joys of giving to others. So we're good at giving to other people, but we're not always good at giving to ourselves. Can anyone relate to that? I know that I have to constantly remind myself. Can I see everyone in gallery view instead of seeing my big face on the screen, or no? Because I'm being highlighted. I can't do that, right? Okay, so I'll just look at me. All right, because I like to see show of
I
hands.
just took you out of the spotlight, so you should be able to see everyone. If you click on the top right, it says gallery view.
Oh, great. That way I can see everyone. Oh, yay. I love to see everyone's beautiful faces. Allison, hi. How are you? Okay. And if you don't mind putting your face on the camera, I'd love to see your faces, and I love to just ask questions and interact. If you can, that's great. So a lot of this will be review for you, or it'll just be a reinforcement of what you already know or teach yourselves. But what I find so wonderful about these workshops is that it's therapeutic just to be together. You know, just being together, like-minded people who are in the same business, identifying with each other, so that we don't feel so alone. And I don't know about you, but Zoom has been a lifesaver for me during this pandemic. My practice is on Zoom. I gather with my friends on Zoom. Otherwise, I would be completely isolated. So just being here together is therapeutic, and I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks again, everybody. So this will be a talk, and then we'll sprinkle in some experiential exercises, and there will be questions and answers towards the end. Sound good? And we're going to talk about self-care and mind-body medicine. So how many of you are familiar with mind-body medicine? Just to raise your hands. Anyone practice meditation? A little bit? Okay, yay, okay. All right, so basically the core of mind-body medicine and all its modalities at the core is breath work. So there's massage, Reiki, acupuncture, functional medicine, but breathing is something we can do for ourselves, and it's portable. Wherever you are, you have your breath. So it's a built-in antidote to stress. You have it at all times. We just have to remember to do it. Okay, so if you want to grab a breathing buddy and, you know, in your life, check on each other. Are you breathing? Are you breathing? You see these rocks that say breathe. I have Post-it notes all over the place, breathe, which seems counterintuitive because without breath, we're not alive. And it's the first thing we do when we're born is we take a deep breath, but we need reminders. Does anyone notice during the course of the day that they're holding their breath? I know I'm like holding my breath. So if you turn blue, you know you're holding your breath. That's the time to breathe. So even I do it, and I've been practicing this a long time. It takes constant vigilance and consciousness, really. So also at the core of mind-body medicine is conscious present awareness. So deep belly breaths are what triggers the relaxation response. So you all know about fight or flight, right? Fight or flight. So we have this built-in mechanism for thousands of years, you know, or hundreds and hundreds of years ago, we were running from the tiger. right? We were running from the tiger in the woods, and what happens when we run from the tiger? We're taking rapid chest breaths. Blood pressure goes up, heart rate goes up, cortisol, which is the stress hormone, goes up. Blood moves away from our digestive system to go to the large muscles so that we can either fight or flee from the tiger, which is why irritable bowel syndrome is related to stress. And conversely, when we're relaxed, so we can't be stressed and relaxed at the same time. So it's this constant balancing act. So when we're relaxed, cortisol levels go down, heart rate goes down, our mood gets better, good feeling hormones get released in the body. And it's the time of rest and digest. So it's great for our metabolism. So anytime you decide to just close your eyes and meditate, you know you're digesting your food well. You're not just sitting there wasting time. It's actually, it increases the body's immune function, decreases inflammation in the body. So the root cause to all disease is inflammation. So anytime you take time to quiet the mind and focus on the breath, you are increasing your body's immune function. And you're also sharpening your ability to focus. It's great for clarity of thinking, so that when you open your eyes, sometimes colors seem sharper. We can be more present with the people in our lives, especially the challenging people in our lives, and our clients. So we are going to practice soft belly breathing. And what I'd like you to do is just sit up in your chair if you can, and place all 4 corners of your feet on the floor. So I promise I'm not going to keep you in this for long, so don't worry about the time. So all 4 corners of the feet are grounded on the floor, and your sits bones are evenly planted on the chair. And imagine at the base of your spine, up through the top of your head, is a column of light. And the column of light shines through the crown of your head and goes straight up to the sky. So you're grounded by the earth below and lifted towards the sky above. And the chest is open, heart is free. And you can bring your shoulder blades up to your ears, back, and just dropping them down. And gently allow the eyes to either gaze downward or you may close them. And letting the belly be soft, so that when you breathe in, the belly rises. And when you breathe out, the belly falls. Breathing in, the belly rises. And breathing out, the belly falls. So it's just this ebb and flow of the belly. And you can deepen your breath by breathing in through the nostrils and blowing out through pursed lips like this. Emptying all the air, all the stale air out of the bottom of the lungs. And then just gradually returning to nostril breathing. Nostril breathing is cooling breath, relaxing breath. And you may notice that thoughts come. So we just let the thoughts come and we let the thoughts go. We just watch them pass like clouds. We may notice sounds inside or outside of the room. We let those pass like clouds as well. And we return our attention to the gentle rise and fall of the belly. And on the inhale, we can say the word breathe. And on the exhale, we can say the word peace. Breathe, peace. So So breathe on the inhale and peace on the exhale, so that this becomes our focus or our anchor for when thoughts come. It's this constant interplay between noticing thoughts coming, letting them go, and returning our attention back to our breath. Breathe, peace. Breathe, peace. So just taking a few moments here in silence together, and I'll get you on the other side. Breathe, peace. Letting thoughts come, watching them pass like clouds. Returning our attention to breathe, peace. So with eyes still closed, just begin to feel the feet on the floor, feeling your seat, the seat of the chair, feeling the air on your skin, noticing its temperature. You wiggle your fingers and toes a bit. Take a gentle stretch overhead. And whenever you're ready, you open your eyes. How do you feel? You feel okay? Feel relaxed? More relaxed? All right, good. So there are lots of studies that prove that breathing this way triggers the vagus nerve and travels up to the brain and tells the brain that we're relaxing. But we don't need all those studies because we feel so good when we practice these techniques. And, the more you practice them, the easier they become. So practice, practice, practice. And I recommend doing it 5 minutes in the morning and then around 3 o'clock when our adrenals start to burn out. Does anyone need like a good cup of coffee around 3 o'clock? You can take a breath, take a few breathers like that. And you can also do it while you're driving, just not with your eyes closed. Okay, breathe peace, but not with your eyes closed. I don't recommend that. But what it does is it triggers the same response. It tells the brain that we're relaxing, and the brain takes its cues from our breath. We're not rapid breathing from our chest. We're soft belly breathing. And it takes a while to learn this. When I first started practicing this, I had been sucking my gut in for so many years trying to be skinny that my belly wouldn't move. So it won't make you bloated, I promise. But practice. The softer you can make your belly, the better. And they did studies in the 60s. They studied yogis in India, and they noticed that yogis could lower their respirations to 2 to 3 per minute, which is pretty outrageous. And, you know, we don't have to do that. We don't have to be yogis to get similar benefits. But the stuff does work. And what I love about this and what I love about mind-body medicine is it says that self-care is primary care. So we, at the heart of all medicine, we have the power to induce healing just by taking a few breaths. So practice, practice, practice. Okay. So another way that we can take care of ourselves is mindfully. How many of us eat mindfully? Did you talk about eating mindfully before in any of the workshops? Okay. How many of us eat mindfully? I'm seeing a lot of grimacing. Ugh, eating mindfully. Ugh. Well, you know, what we put into our mouths is one of the most important ways we can take care of ourselves. We're either hurting ourselves or helping ourselves. So choosing whole foods, not processed foods, eating slowly, chewing slowly, putting the phone down, turning the TV off, noticing the plate, noticing all the colors and textures and temperatures, and taking it in with all of our senses, all the fragrances, imagining where the food came from, all the farmers that it took, all the workers that it took to get this food on your plate. And to practice appreciation for the food and to chew slowly and to stop eating when you're full. And how many people do that? I don't do that. I was talking to Cheryl before this workshop, and there's an ice cream shop down the block from where we are. And I give myself a day to have ice cream. I call it Ice Cream Sundays. Can you hear me? Are you okay? You can hear me? Yeah. Cheryl wants to say something.
I don't know, sometimes when you move your mic, it
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
just keep it like in one place if possible.
Yep. Thank you. So ice cream Sundays. So I allow myself ice cream Sundays once a week, and not an ice cream Sunday, but an ice cream. And I ate it last night, and it was amazing. I ate it mindfully. It was creamy. It was freezing. We had 3 flavors. We had lemon poppy, peanut butter mudslide, and cappuccino cookie or something like that. So I'm not saying don't eat that kinds of stuff ever, ever, ever. Treat yourself once in a while. Eat it mindfully though, and notice how certain foods make you feel. Some foods make us feel sluggish. Some foods give us energy. And it's a very important thing to pay attention to. You can keep a journal, write about the foods that give you energy. And eating good food also, eating it mindfully, releases those endorphins and neurotransmitters that make us feel good. So it's another way that we can take care of ourselves. And it's so important, reducing sugar, even though I'm talking about ice cream, reducing it. So it's not all or nothing, right? Reducing alcohol, reducing fried foods, that kind of thing, eating whole foods. Anyone have any comments or questions, or we'll save it for the end? We'll save it for the end. Okay, write your questions down. And so that's the bit about mindful eating. I can see you all love that topic. Most people get very triggered by that topic, but it's an important thing to pay attention to. Okay. Mind-body medicine focuses on raising our awareness. So when we close our eyes and do soft belly breathing or breathe peace, and if you don't like breathe peace as the focus, you can use Baruch Hashem, you can use any 2 words that speak to you. It quiets our mind eventually. The Buddhists call it monkey mind. The mind swings from branch to branch. When we quiet the mind, and you will never have no thoughts, I don't think. I would be scared if you had no thoughts. It's about slowing down the thoughts. It's about lengthening the gap between thoughts. So when we can lengthen that gap, we get into a state where we tap into our own truth. our own authenticity. So we get in touch with our feelings also. And feelings are not a problem. Feelings, you know that song, Feelings. Feelings were not looked upon very well in my household growing up. I don't know about you, but crying was not welcome and being upset was not welcome. The only thing you had to do was smile. So, and I think a lot of us share that. And so we have an aversion to our own feelings sometimes. Feelings are not a problem. Feelings are like a river, they just trickle. Feelings change, they trickle. The only problem that feelings come up against is when they get stuck, when we get stuck in a feeling. When we get stuck in being mad, what happens? We get enraged, we get furious, or when we get stuck in being sad, we get very depressed. Even happy feelings, if we get stuck in a happy feeling, we can become manic, cuckoo, bouncing off the walls. So that's not good either. So what is the remedy? Self-expression. Self-expression is the remedy. There's something called the feel wheel that's on the internet. I'll include it in my handout. But we want to become acquainted with the whole spectrum of feelings. We're not just, you know, when someone asks you how you're doing, how are you doing? Fine, right? There are more feelings than fine. And we want to become acquainted with all the feelings on the spectrum of feelings so that we can express ourselves. And when we learn how to express ourselves, we can get our needs met. And again, if we are caregivers, and we need to have our own needs met first, before anyone else. Before anyone else, yes, before anyone else, before your children, before your parents, before your clients, before anyone else. That's what I say. Because if we don't, we get angry and depressed, and our tank is on empty, and then we can't really give to others. But we love to give to others, so we have to fill our tank. So how do we express ourselves? Through journaling. Does anyone here like to journal? Great. There's something called morning pages. So you wake up in the morning, some nods, and you just take a piece of paper and you write. You just free flow write for 3 pages without editing, without correcting syntax, without grammar worries, just blah, 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 3 pages. And it's about getting your juices flowing. It's about getting expressed. So we want to be able to express ourselves. How many of you, when you get upset, you kind of squash yourself down? You get quiet. Yeah. How many of you explode? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I get explosive, and sometimes I shut myself down. So the idea is to keep expressing yourself so that you don't shut down and you don't explode. Because we never feel good after we explode, do we? We think we're going to feel good. Let me just say this one thing. It's going to feel so good, but it never does. So getting in the habit of expressing, journaling. How many people do artwork? Does anyone do a form of art, drawing, or anything? You can take, so in some of the stress management workshops I do, we just draw with crayons. And it's so fun. Drawing yourself as you are now, drawing yourself with your biggest problem, and then drawing yourself without your biggest problem. So it's 3 pages. I'm not going to make you do it now. But if you want to do that later, it's a fabulous way of connecting to the subconscious part of the brain. When we get into these creative, expressive places, we make conscious what has been previously unconscious. And then we can make change. So we can't change anything we're not aware of. This is all about becoming aware. Who dances? Cheryl and Nancy. I haven't danced in a while. It's kind of sad. I haven't danced in a while. Maybe I'll dance later. I always feel so silly when I dance, but it makes me giggle because it makes me feel so good. And so dancing is a wonderful thing to do. Yoga is a wonderful thing to do. I love yoga. How many of you have hobbies? Creative hobbies? I did a paint by numbers this COVID season. I call it my COVID cow. She's a beautiful cow, and I framed her. So getting into expressive exercises, either by movement or by speaking to a friend, speaking to a therapist, in these Zoom rooms when we can freely express with each other, that's a wonderful form of self-expression. Because we don't want to get stuck. Okay. Another form of movement that we can do. Cheryl, do you know the shake break? Okay, so there's something that we studied in mind body medicine called the shake break, where you stand up and shake. We did it for 20 minutes straight. I won't make you do that. Let's get up and shake for just about a minute, okay? Because the idea is that when we get stuck in a particular feeling or thought that we ruminate on, it gets stuck in the body. You get shoulder tension, you get lower back pain, it gets stuck in the body. So we're gonna shake for about a minute and then see how we feel afterwards, okay? And we're gonna look really silly, all right? I know we don't like to look silly, but we're gonna look really silly. And I'll tell you when to start. All right. So we're standing, and if you have a balance issue, hold on to a chair, okay? If you have a balance issue, hold on to a chair. And you start by planting your feet on the ground, hips width apart, and just at the knees, shake. And then moving up to the hips. And then moving up to the chest and the shoulders. And then you can flap your arms around, bouncing up and down. And shake. And you're going to want to stop, but keep going. Keep going. Keep shaking. And then you can make sound. It's like being at a Dead concert. Let it go. Grateful Dead. And you can play music when you do this. Shake, shake, shake. Make noise. I can't hear you. Shake. Look silly. Whee! All right, and then just stop and stand. Taking a deep breath. Notice if your heart rate went up. Notice if you feel tingly, alive. Whoo! And whenever you're ready, just come back to sit. That's a shake break. So, better than a cup of coffee. Certainly better than a cigarette. Just as an aside, so do that at like 3 o'clock. You can do that at 3 o'clock. It's fabulous. Who feels good? Feel alive, right? Whee! Amazing. All right. So who here has to go to the bathroom and doesn't go to the bathroom? Who here gets hungry and doesn't eat? Who here I don't know. I mean, those are basic needs, right? Those are basic needs. So I do a lot of work with nurses, and you will not believe how many nurses have to pee and say they don't have time to pee. I don't have time to pee. What? So we need to make time to pee. We need to make time to eat. We need to make time for self-care. And even if you tag team with someone, listen, watch this person while I run to the bathroom because I'm about to burst. And don't wait till you're about to burst. Learn to cue into your own needs first. How am I doing? Make it a habit to ask yourself the question, how do I feel right now? What do I need? What's going to make me feel better? Right? When we eat mindlessly, we're trying to fix something, and it's usually not that thing. Maybe we need more sleep. Maybe we need a hug. Maybe we need to connect with our significant other. Maybe we just need to veg and watch TV for an hour. Ask yourself the question, what do I need? Okay, so once we get expressed, right? Shake break is also good for loosening up stuck energies, stuck feelings in the body. Once we get expressed, we can start having conversations with people in a productive way. And some of you might know nonviolent communication. Is anyone familiar with nonviolent communication? Yeah. So in nonviolent communication, we make an observation. So I like using this one. It's a little crass, but your partner leaves the toilet seat up. So the observation is, honey, you left, the toilet seat is up. Observation. Then we name our feeling. I feel uncared for. I feel invisible. Then the need. I need you to consider that I also use the toilet. I need not to fall into the toilet when I sit down on it. I've done that. And then the request. Please put the toilet seat down after you use it. All right. And then the other person can say yes, no, or negotiate. All right. Yes, I will put the toilet seat down, but I need, so this is a negotiation, but I need you to put a sign up by the toilet that says, please put the toilet seat down. Okay, I accept that counter. All right. We don't let ourselves get to that point where we run to our other and say, I can't believe you left that toilet seat up again. I'm gonna kill you. You don't love me. That's it. I'm leaving. I'm tired of this nonsense. 30 years of this nonsense, right? We don't let our, and I'm exaggerating, maybe not, but we don't let ourselves get to that point. Okay, we express ourselves. First, we meditate. We become aware. We feel our feelings. We get conscious. We express. And then we can have nonviolent communication. So that's observation. I'll send this to you in a handout. Observation, feeling, need, and request. Sound good? All right. How much time do I have? Am I good with time? Like 10 more minutes?
Yeah, I would say you probably have like 10 more minutes. Yeah.
All right. Including questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So 10 more minutes I talk and then we take questions?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to keep going. So we have the shake break. We're gonna have lots of tools by the end of this. I'm wiggling that thing on the thing, sorry. So you want to have self-care buddies, people who you share your practices with, either in a support group or just one buddy you can talk to. You want to be accountable to make this change. You want to put it in your calendar. If I don't put everything in my calendar, it doesn't happen. And then you have to look at your calendar. That's also, it's a two-part thing. So self-care is not selfish. How many of you get into nature? Nature is so important. Great. I see a lot of you. You feel so alive in nature, right? You get these, I forgot what they're called, from electromagnetic currents from the earth. If you can walk barefoot, not now, but you get alive from taking a walk in nature. Sound baths, they've done studies on sound baths, not sound baths, tree bathing, forest bathing. Being in nature, walking in nature. How many of you pray? Yeah, great. Wow. I'd love to hear about the benefits of prayer for you. So having a faith, having hope, having a God, having a higher power is proven to do all the benefits of mind-body medicine, lowering blood pressure, lowering heart rate, improving the body's immune function, releasing all those fabulous endorphins. And every time we pray, we get a hit of that goodness. So keep praying. It's like setting an intention, like a fabulous intention for yourself or another. How many of you exercise? Wow, it's a lot. All right, good. Exercise is good. So a lot of us are brainiacs and we forget that we have a body, or at least I do. I forget I have a body and I need to move it. We are mind-body creatures. The mind affects the body affects the mind. So we can improve our mood by thinking of a beautiful scene, taking it in with all of our senses, imagining it. In guided imagery, we talk to the brain using all of our senses, our optic nerve, like visualizing, imagining things. The brain believes that we're actually in this fantastic place when we close our eyes and go to a safe place or a magical place. So we can use our brains or we can use our bodies, and taking a walk in nature is a wonderful thing to do for yourself or around the block. How many of you do guided imagery or know the power of guided imagery? So guided imagery, great. Susan, great. So guided imagery uses all of the senses. We'll do a little exercise that shows you the power of guided imagery. We use all of our senses, and I forget all of them. It's sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell, right? So when we imagine ourselves in a beautiful place, we take it in with all of our senses, and it's as if we go on a vacation. But we're going to do a little experiment, a little mind-body experiment. So get comfortable in your chair. This will just be a couple of minutes. Get comfortable in your chair. Feet planted on the floor, sits bones evenly distributed. Tall column of light up your spine, shoulders up to your ears, back and down. Gently allow the eyes to close. Allowing the belly to be soft once again. Taking a few deep breaths in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils. Just slowing down the breath. And using your imagination. So trust that what you need to see comes to you. Just trust your first instinct. In your mind's eye, I'd like you to imagine yourself in a kitchen. It could be a kitchen that you've been in before, or it could be a kitchen that you've seen in magazines. And I'd like you to look around this kitchen. Notice all the materials with your mind's eye. Notice the way the light shines in this kitchen. Notice any smells that make this kitchen so wonderful. Noticing any sounds. And in your mind's eye, I'd like you to imagine that you go to the refrigerator and open the refrigerator. And in the fruit drawer, pull out a lemon. Some people leave their lemons on the counter. This lemon is in the refrigerator. And pulling out the lemon, closing the refrigerator, and holding the lemon in your hand, just noticing the weight of the lemon, noticing its surface texture. Noticing its density. Maybe hold it up to your nose, see if it smells any fragrances from the lemon. And I'd like you to place the lemon down on a cutting board and pick up a knife, a sharp knife, and slice the lemon in half. And now slice the half in half. And pick up the quarter of a lemon, hold it up to your mouth, and take a bite. And now open your eyes. How many of you salivated? I saw some wincing. So that is a demonstration of the power of visualization, guided visualization. So the brain doesn't know the difference between what we tell it we're seeing and what we actually see. So we want to, when we close our eyes and do a guided visualization, picture a beautiful scene, and you can paint it any way you like. Have all of your favorite things in it. All of your favorite blankets. And the same with words. Choose kind words, because your brain believes what you tell it. When you say to yourself, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, all of that. The brain believes us. So we want to be very careful in the way we choose our words to ourselves. No one can hear it, but we can hear it. And that makes the difference. All right, so I'm going to wind it up. Get sleep, please. 8 to 9 hours a day, sleep. And that's a whole nother conversation about sleep hygiene, but maybe you'll ask somebody to do something on sleep hygiene. Or I could tell you about it and send you something. Exercise, do hobbies, express yourself, get a massage. I just got a massage, my face is creased. It is so good. It is so good for you. Being touched. I don't know how many of you are being touched in this pandemic. Even if you touch yourself, stroke your arm. Use oils, use essential oils. Give yourself a hug. It actually releases endorphins, believe it or not. Laugh yoga, right, Cheryl? Watch funny movies, turn off the news just for, not the whole time, because it throws us into a sympathetic state of stress. And we need to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. And I think that is it. Take care of yourself. Take good care, darlings. And now for questions and answers. Hopefully answers. Was that useful? I threw a lot at you. You have a lot of tools: guided imagery, shake, break, breathe, peace. It's a lot of tools. Even if you practice just one at a time, do one that feels right for you, and then go back to something else and try that out. Mindful eating. Try to eat one meal mindfully, one, where you just sit with your plate, take it in with all of your senses, look at all the colors and textures and temperatures, and eat it slowly. They say it takes 20 minutes for the food to hit your belly. So if you eat slowly, you eat less also. Any questions?
I think Cheryl had a question about the communication. Cheryl, do you want to ask?
Oh, yeah. Cheryl, you're on mute.
Yeah, so vis-a-vis, like you were doing that non-violent communication, I was saying, like, what do we do? What do the caregiver do with a loved one who is not responsive to that kind of thing? And so,
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think that if you use that technique with the people that you can communicate with,
Yes.
you're not going to escalate battles with other people. So it is very useful, but not necessarily with your loved one who's suffering with.
Right. It's not necessarily with your loved one.
Right, but it's still important. And I just mentioned also that, in terms of expressing ourselves, we have wonderful support groups, which we really encourage people to take advantage of, because it's lonely to do it on your own. And it's lovely to work with people who are in the same boat and understand, what you're going through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what you can practice with your patients or loved ones is just listening. Listening is highly underrated. So the way you're listening to me now, nodding, eye contact, you can just actually repeat what they say to you. So what I hear you say is this. Did I get that? Is there more? And you just let them talk and you just listen. Huge, huge gift.
Do you have any suggestions for, let's say you're very frustrated in the moment and you don't want to react in a bad way, like a tip or two for how to kind of take a second to calm down so you don't like throw that back out at the person that you're caring for?
So consciousness, right? So pause, pray, proceed. Pause, pray, proceed. We never want to act out in anger. And that's why we practice breath work as a baseline practice every single day. You brush your teeth every single day. You breathe every single day, mindfully, quietly. Pause, pray, proceed. You can imagine a stop sign coming up. You never want to act out in anger. And if it's urgent or it seems to be urgent, take a few breaths. Take a few deep belly breaths. You can put your hand on your belly. Make it audible. It calms the nervous system in an instant. Or go to a bathroom stall and shake. Right? You don't want to do that in public because people think you're having a seizure, but you can go to a bathroom stall and shake. but do these practices as maintenance. This is maintenance so that you don't leap, explode in anger, right? Or repress yourself. You want to be expressive. Any other questions? No questions?
Jen, we have a lot of questions and we could keep you here for much longer, but the hour is kind of winding down. And I'd really like to take this opportunity to thank you so much. You really jam-packed a lot of very, very valuable tips and advice for us. And I certainly think that if we followed half of them, we'd certainly be a lot calmer and more zen. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Wait, may I just make one question? Because my battery ran out. When you take you take the bite of the lemon and you open your eyes, would you finish the rest of that? Because my battery ran out and I had to go get the wire.
Yeah, so the punchline is that you salivate. You
Oh,
salivate.
you should salivate. Okay.
And so I don't know if you salivated, but
No, I mean, I winced.
you winced. Okay, good. That's also good. So it just demonstrates the power of the mind and body and guided imagery.
Okay.
That is a healing modality for yourself.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thanks for everything.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's really, really powerful. So thank you all for joining us. And I really hope and look forward to
Thank you.
I hope that you'll join us at our next event, which is going to be held on December 15th at 4 p.m., where we will be having a Hanukkah party, where we will be combining the prayer and the faith with dance. And actually, Jen, we're going to be having Odelia, who has been at the Graf Center. So maybe you'll join us and come with us. And what we are asking of everybody is please to register early, because we have a very exciting goodie bag that will be delivered to you upon registration. Thank you very, very much to Eileen Wolff and the generosity of the Wolff Caregiver Program, without whom this program would not exist. So please be sure to register, join us, and help us celebrate Hanukkah with joy, dancing, and a lot of fun. Thank you.
Sounds
everybody.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jen.
My pleasure. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jen, again.
I'll send you a handout. Oh, did she leave?
It's okay. You
Great.
can send it to Libby and I, and Libby will send it out.
All right, terrific.
Great. You should
Great.
have our emails.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I always know I was about to end it, but I'm like, no, and Linda, you stay on. How do I, wait, I can't hear you. You're muted.
So, in other words, her the way she presents is not very inspiring, but I think a lot of I wrote down, like, she did really give some good tips.
Right.
So the second half, the first half was like, whatever. Look, we had a little overlap. She's the third person who spoke about breathing, mindfulness. Megan did the movement like
Right.
crazy. Again, I think that for people who are lay people and might not have heard these tips before, it was very good because she did a lot. The guided so
And
not
Nancy was on here, right? Yeah.
not in the mindfulness workshop, but Paul and I, which sadly we haven't done this for a while, the one we do on oh my God, what is it called again? That we do for people who are suffering from chronic illnesses.
Right.
But we've also had we didn't make this workshop, you know, we were trained by the Hackensack, the Board of Health, whatever. There's a whole thing there about guided imagery when it talks about, you know, helping you. That's great. The guided imagery, the shake break, asking yourself, what do you need? I think those are all amazing things. You know, so hopefully for the people, but it's unbelievable that 32 people signed up. Now that might have been including us. So even if 20 were
I don't
outside of
know.
the two,
Right,
Gil is the only one who didn't have much of a drop off.
right. And
'Cause
they
I
were
think
probably
people are
mostly
just-
her people, right?
Yeah. I wonder, like, again, why? I know why Gila had a great turnout. She had her own people, and also cooking brings everybody out.
Right.
But why did everybody else have such a drop off? Like, is it like someone says, "Oh, I'll register," like, but not really thinking they're
Right.
gonna come? I think that's it. I don't think it's that people really wanted to come and couldn't show up last minute, because that's too big of a
Right.
drop off.
No, I don't think
It's
so
like,
either.
I'll sign up. Let me get the Zoom link. That's why when I do workshops, and Paul and I do our workshops, we only send the link to people who, like, we know are making a commitment to come, because then it's like a fake
Right, right,
sign up.
right.
Whatever. Look, it wasn't bad. It was good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know. So, and the
Okay.
next one will be fun.
Yeah, hopefully people will come though. That's like the thing. Like, it's lame to have a party with, 5 people.
I know, but like, I hope people feel like I need a break for an hour. Let me
Right.
have fun. Let me sing. Let me dance.
I think we need to put more. So next Monday you can make that time. Eileen she wanted to talk. I gave her
Totally.
the list of all the money we had spent so far on this program. And I listed it as $400 a month on advertising because, the 2 newspapers and a little bit more. And she was like, really? That's a lot of money on advertising. I don't know if we're getting a return. So she wanted to talk. I was like, okay, we'll talk about it with the group. She doesn't know the papers. So I'm actually sending her right now the papers. So
But I will
them.
say that Teaneck Schools does pretty well. Like, I think I told you, for our Coping with Aging Parents, that's where we got most of the signups for this,
Right.
session.
Okay, so I think we should do like more of a push for this next.
Right, and maybe we want to bill it like, party on, like, take a break. You need a break.
Right.
You need a break. You need to party. You need to celebrate because you're a caregiver. And during this challenging time, it's
Right.
like even more. Everybody needs a break during this time. And I think we should have to push it like that.
I agree.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Thanks.
great. Enjoy the rest of your vacation.
Thanks.
Staycation.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.